Hey, my name is Des, or Desmond, or Desi, or Daisy, depending on who you are. There's sort of a menagerie going on there. If you've been on the internet for long enough, you probably have a similar experience where you have different names for different spaces in your life. I think that's kind of normalized as far as the internet goes. We're used to referring to people by their Reddit username or their social media handle or their, whatever their in-game, Chudlord 9000 or whatever. There's sort of an interesting phenomenon that I think comes with that where our identities can become segmented. We have who we are in one space and we have who we are in another space, and where those things connect and where they separate are a gray area that I find really interesting. So I used to work at a bookstore, and a friend of mine used to come in and he told me that he hated seeing me when I was working at the bookstore. And the reason was because I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being my true self. When he saw me, I was being very customer service oriented, helping people find the book with the red cover or the blue cover. There's some truth to this, I can imagine, but for me, in my mind, I did not perceive that as a lack of authenticity. I saw it as me authentically expressing myself in a different way to suit the needs of another person. Would you believe that I'm neurodivergent? So, who are you? What is authenticity? What is authentically you? I thought about that a lot when conceiving this video. See, a friend of mine, Damien, check him out. He's got a link in the bio. He does have a YouTube channel. He's a cool dude. But he suggested to me that I should put myself in front of the camera more. He said that I should put myself into my videos, into my art, in order to be authentic, in order to make a connection with the audience. And for me, at that time, I felt like that was counterproductive. What I was making was very intentional. I wanted to make this piece of art, and I wanted that art to do the communicating for me. To me, it felt more authentic to separate myself from the piece. And that brings me to a place where I've always found it better, easier, more efficient to express my authentic self through the production of pieces of art. I feel like I can say a lot more about who I am in a song or in a video or in a collage or in an art piece. The reason for that is because art allows us to access a space that our words can't. Our words are an invention, and each word carries with it a certain meaning that we all have to agree upon. For me, growing up, that was really insufficient. I found it really satisfying to try and find the very best words for every situation to communicate as clearly as possible. And I put a lot of effort and work into that. But poetry really opened the door, because then you have situations where you are putting words together and the meaning of the word is changing based on the context in a way that is suggestive, in a way that could be perceived in different ways by different people. More than technical writing, it was much truer to the nature of human existence. So when I create a piece, when I create a piece of art, I'm considering what I want to project to the world. I'm expressing something of my soul, something of my essence that I can bring out of myself and put out there in front of people like you. And whether people look or not, that is a true expression of who I am. That is true to me. So in terms of identity, it's something that I think about a lot. The way that we refer to each other, the way that we think of each other. The fact is that you exist in multitudes, and you perceive yourself as one way, and you have an authentic idea of who you are, but you have been a very different you to every person you have ever met. And if they were to write a synopsis of you and who you are and what qualities make you you, it might not match up with your notes. So for instance, say you're driving, somebody cuts you off and you're very angry at that moment. And you're like, whoa, bro, what was that about? I'm driving totally normal. You are an asshole. That person to you is just a car asshole, right? They are the asshole in the car that was rude to you one time. And did you see their face? Did you get any glimmer? Maybe he was bald and had glasses, and that is all that you got. That's all that you know. And imagine yourself now, you are at Taco Bell and you are standing in line and you're having a nice conversation with a gentleman who's bald and has glasses. Now, you might not add up that this is the same guy. Why would you? That guy was an asshole. And this guy, well, he just wants a cheesy gordita crunch. Everybody wants a cheesy gordita crunch. So as you're talking to this dude, you are forming an opinion of him. This guy is just some guy. He's some kind guy who made you laugh, who's hungry and craves the bell around the same time that you do. There's camaraderie there. He's not your enemy. He's not your adversary. And now, if this is the same guy, you have two versions of this dude stuck in your head, two versions of this total stranger. And are either of them authentic? Is one closer to authenticity as the other? If he goes home and he, like, I don't know, kicks his dog, does that make the asshole version more accurate? Or if he goes home and is like really super cool to his dog, does that make the cheesy gordita crunch? What if he shares the cheesy gordita? You can see where I'm getting at. Your authentic self is a secret. It is beyond what you see as your authentic self. I'm trying to be authentic to you right now, and I've really stripped down all my usual armor of my typical video format in order to try and be as authentic as possible. But your picture of me right now is very incomplete. How I think of myself, what I've done, these things are divorced from my public persona. These things are divorced from my public entity. So consider that you're lying to cover something up. The lying you is the authentic lying you. The part of you that conceals your true self is just as true as the part which is being concealed. You're complicated. Authenticity is not really simple. It's not really obvious. The parasocial nature of things right now, given our social media, given our, entertainment icons, given the musicians that you like, there's always something that you're not going to know and you're not going to see and you're potentially going to be disappointed by. But each human being carries the potential to disappoint you. We are disappointable. People are messy. People are complicated. And your authenticity, I think, should be challenged less than it is. Some of us are masking ourselves to make it easier to get through the day. Some of us reflect back behaviors and language of other people as a means of just kind of smoothing things out. And some of us hide behind artwork. Some of us say that nothing that I can do, none of this body is sufficient to express who I am to anyone else. So I just have to make something. I just have to create a picture or a song or a poem and use that to express to the world, hey, this is who I am. Pay attention to this. Look at this. Please use your intuition to interpret what I've done and what I've created and tell me who you think I am. Reflect back to me what you see and what you understand of my heart. So as you're moving through life and you're considering whether or not you're authentic or if the people around you are being authentic, remember that authenticity is a layered concept. It's not a one size fits all. We all have a lot of different identities. We have a lot of different names. We have a lot of different concepts of self. To get Shrek on you, there's the Freud onion. There's the id, the middle, then the ego, and then the superego, okay? And then if I go beyond, there is the higher self. There's the thing that brings us all together and creates a sense of continuity. At the end of this, I really want to say that more than anything else, your authentic identity is your narrative. It's really your story. It's something that requires the context of time to really bear any meaning. When somebody bears a judgment against you or has an idea of who you are, it is a snapshot. Okay? It is something that is very 2D. This snapshot is who you were at a certain moment, maybe at a good moment, maybe at a bad moment. They might have additional context, and they will create a snapshot of you from these points of time. But who you are is a whole story. It's a whole circle from being born to dying, and the things that changed you along the way, the ways in which you've been hurt, the ways in which you've hurt people, the ways in which you've decided to change and become better, become stronger, become smarter. This is you. And it's so important that you remember that. It's so important that you remember that you cannot be judged based off of one snapshot. Right now, I am being authentic. I am being fully and completely authentic with you. But I'm going to stop.